One more shocking news from Spain. Barcelona sent 100 million euros offer to Atlético Madrid for Julián Álvarez. And the question is the transfer of the summer? Because after signing Anthony Gordon from Newcastle United for more than 80 million euros, it can be one more shocking signing for Barcelona, who was in debt for 3 billion euros some years ago and nearly were bankrupt in 2021. Barca is showing a big ambition to win the Champions League in the next season by that way. So we have to analyze one thing. Will this work or not? In my opinion, it's quite risky. When you analyze their statistics, I mean, in participation in the goals and scoring the goals, for example, for Alvarez, for forwards commonly, let's say, it's not quite impressive. Because none of these players were in the top 5 in their league of the goal scorers. So it's a little bit a problem in that sense. When you look for other players who were signed and who was successful in Barcelona, for example, Luis Suarez or Neymar, they were some kind of proven players. The reason is, as a big club as Barcelona, you have to be 100% sure that the player who will come will perform the way as you want, as one of the best players. But from the previous failures, like in the situation with Antoine Griezmann or let's say with Coutinho, there is a big question. And it's not a situation about the Atlético Madrid. Will they accept the offer? Because they want more money. They want more money than it was paid for Antoine Griezmann in 2019. It was 120 million euros, and they want, and Atlético Madrid wants around 130 million euros. Will Barcelona walk away if they reject the offer? I think no, because there is other options for Alvarez to continue his career, and Atlético Madrid doesn't have a strong desire to sell him. The problem is the player side. Player wants to go to another team because Alvarez thinks that he will succeed in a bigger team, in a bigger club, with all respect to Atlético Madrid fans. He wants to win the Champions League and the big titles, and Barcelona can be the chance for it. So Paris Saint-Germain and Arsenal is also monitoring the situation, and they will act accordingly if Barca will walk away, but I'm not sure that they will walk away. Otherwise, they will not go into it without, as they know that Atletico will want more money. But, you know, it's like a formal step when you just make a first offer, then the second offer, then the third if it's needed, and after that you sign the player. And yes, it can be quite interesting, also in the sense of the coach. Because Hans Flick, the head coach of Barcelona, as I know, he likes to play with a typical number 9 as Lewandowski, who is tall, who can play with the head. But Alvarez is a different style of player. He is more appropriate for tiki-taka. His techniques are good. He's not too much tall. You know, it's a Barca style to buy this kind of forwards who is not too much tall, who is technically good. For example, I could mention about Luis Suarez or David Villa, but they were a good goal scorers. However, I could not mention it about Alvarez. Of course, he had the good moments in the World Cup, for example, when he scored exceptional goals, or in a La Liga, or in other tournaments in the Champions League from the free kicks. But you know, it's the ability what good forward or good number 9 should show is the numbers of goals that you have scored in your league, the number of goals that you have scored in Champions League, in the other tournaments. So for me, Anthony Gordon and Alvarez are both quite risky transfers, and Barca should look at players as Bruno Fernandes, for example, when they are looking for some kind of attacking players, or Igor Thiago from Brentford, because their numbers are quite impressive. Of course, Bruno is not young enough to come to Barca. They want as a player who will be for present and the future. But in that sense, they need to look to their statistics, to their numbers, and the numbers doesn't lie. So for Alvarez and Adam Gordon, I cannot mention that. They are quite overhyped players for me. They are overhyped, and I don't find the sense why a lot of clubs want them in their club, in their team. I don't find the sense, because they run fast or what? There are a lot of players who can run fast. There are a lot of players who can have a good stamina. There are a lot of players with a good technique, but the most important thing for the forwards are numbers. You need to score a lot of goals. And in Barca, you need to score a lot of goals, and we'll see will it work or not. But Barca is showing a strong ambition. And also, Atletico Madrid will need to bring somebody else instead of Alvarez, because Griezmann is also leaving the club, as we know. He's going to MLS, to Orlando City. So they will be only left Lookman and some other forwards, but they need some kind of proven forward. The good option can be Mason Greenwood from Marseille, as he is available, and he was kicked out from England. So maybe Marcus Rashford, because he will not sign the contract with Barcelona, as Barca doesn't want him. He needs to understand it finally, that the club that you want doesn't want you. You must understand that, Marcus. Bro, the club, Barcelona doesn't want you. They rejected to pay 30 million euros for you, and they are paying more than 80 million euros and more than 100 million euros for Alvarez and Anthony Gordon. Come on, bro. Just feel some respect. You need to feel something, like you are a man. You are a player. You have to understand that kind of thing. If the club doesn't want you, why you are just reacting like that? Just go to another club. Just look for another club. Come on, bro. You won the La Liga, and why you need to stay in Barcelona? You can go to another club, for example, to Bayern Munich, and win the Champions League that you want. So no need for Barca, bro. And there is also breaking news from England that press are talking about, that Konaté is leaving Liverpool as a free agent. It can be also Barcelona. There is also a quite small chance that his new club will be Barcelona. He is not young, he is not old, he's 27, and it can be perfect age for the defender. Of course, as we know, Konaté wants to live in his motherland. He wants to go back to his motherland, as he's from France. He's thinking to go to PSG, but the question is, will PSG sign him? If PSG doesn't want him, in that case, he will need to find for himself another club. Maybe it can be Real Madrid, maybe Barcelona. So I can only see this kind of options. Konaté is a good player, and the Barca needs some kind of a strong defender, and he can be a good choice, as he will be a free agent, and you don't need to pay him. You don't need to pay for him to the club. You don't need to buy him. It's of course you will pay the salary, but anyway, it's a quite good choice for Barca, and maybe they will try to sign him. Honestly saying, for me, Konaté is he has some qualities. he's, if you analyze Barca's game, they are conceding a lot of goals. And logically, if you analyze, you have to say that they need a defender, because when you are conceding a lot of goals, the problem can be the defender, or maybe central defensive midfielder. Because after Busquets left the club, there is some kind of gap. Frankie de Jong is more creative midfielder for me. And they need defender, maybe, or central midfielder. Let's see what's gonna happen. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to not miss my new videos. Bye bye.